This podcast contains strong language and mature themes. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, guys. Little tensions are high, and our characters are in some more turmoil than we thought. Alex, what do you think?
Let's not pretend that Toradora is subtle in its messages. Is that such a good episode at talking about people that get you, what it means to be happy, what
it means to be mature.
Yes, and maturity is now, from now on, actually going to be a main theme of Toradora.
Okay, I'm going to start off with one thing, just because I know I'm going to forget it once we actually get into it, because I just thought of it. Here is a +1 point for Ami, because this is something I just realized now. So, we have this business with Kitamura. I'm literally hopping to something in the second episode.
Okay, that's
fine. Just
fine.
because I just realized it. We'll hop back. But, alright. So, we have... Kitamura is obviously in turmoil. And Ami's like, yeah, stop being a child. You'll deal with this on your own. Yet, she walks into the teacher, who's kind of down on her luck, and she knows exactly how to deal with this situation. Because she's more used to dealing with adults.
Yeah.
She's just able to say, oh man, isn't that the designer clothing from the fall line? I knew you were fashionable. Man, you're so mature and cute. And she's just like, I love you.
Yeah. Teacher continues to climb the totem pole of being the best supporting character.
Oh my god. Let me go back to my single desk as a single woman. Yeah, we were rolling.
That was a roll on the floor laughing moment. Ami, so the theme of this episode is finding people that understand you,
right.
maturity.
Well, back to the first episode.
Yeah, the point of that first episode is that there's a rumor going around after Taiga threw people around at the Cultural Festival wrestling match. There's a rumor going around.
That phrase is still hilariously odd to me.
It's that's a culture shock, but it's like...
Wow.
Haha. There's a rumor going around that if Taiga touches you, you will be happy. Something will happen that makes you happy. So a lot of people in high school, it's relationships because everyone wants to be loved. Everybody wants somebody. And so Ryuji kind of has this internal thought track where he goes, she's always touching me, so I should be the happiest guy in the world right now. Kind of an important theme of this episode is just being mature. When Ryuji goes to Ami and he says, oh, I don't know how to make Taiga happy. She doesn't seem happy. And Ami, who works with adults, knows that Taiga and Ryuji are happy and goes, oh, she's happy. Don't worry about it. Because Ryuji is probably one of the happiest people on the show right now, but it's not in-your-face happiness. Yeah. It's mature, adult happiness, and he can't appreciate it yet because he's still ultimately just a kid.
Oh, I'm not whooshy-gushy in love with my silly Minarine girl? Oh, man.
Like, I'm watching this going, yeah, the show's hitting you over the head with its themes, but it's not making you connect the dots. You have to do it yourself. So watching as I go, oh, Minarine is grouping herself with Ryuji because they're on the same level of maturity, but Ryuji's also on the same level as Ami because he's able to see right through her when no one else can, and Ami wants to be understood by the kids, but she feels like she can't be. There's so many different wires crossing.
Yeah, but she's such a child.
Yeah, it's that the moment where the entire first episode, everyone's saying how mature Ami is, and she's like, yeah, I'm so mature. Oh, you can get whatever you want because you're so beautiful. And she's like, I know. And the one person that she wants to understand her sees right through her and goes, sometimes you're such a child. And you have to sit back and go, this is such a well-paced show. This is such a smart show. Boy, let's talk about Taiga running at the speed of 10 frames a second.
Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of setup in this episode for Kitamura's thing, blow up, turned down. I don't know what we're going to call it. We have this whole thing where something's going on with him as student council president. We don't know quite what it is yet, but seems to be pretty down about it. And Taiga goes to him and is like, hey, you can touch me all over.
Oh, that did come out, didn't it?
Yep. That was definitely said. And she immediately realized what she said, and she was not happy about it.
Is there anything that you wanted to say on the Taiga and Kitamura level for this episode? Because I have a lot to say.
Well, I find it funny that at this state, I guess I'm going to pull a little bit in the next episode as well. If we're looking at the duality of our two canonical trying for it relationships, be it Taiga and Kitamura and Minarin and Ryuji, they could not be more in a different place right now. Like, Taiga still has, like, that super crush, and Ryuji's, like, pretty subtle about it still, but he's, like, able to talk to Minarin. Like, he doesn't really have the same butterflies as he did before, which is very interesting, honestly, at this point. But
that she doesn't have any kind of, like, butterfly situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're seeing a little bit of weird hastiness on Minarin's part. She's on weird shaky ground, and while they haven't really pushed the point of why yet, if you're paying attention, you can see some little things here and there. Should we talk about the photos?
Let's talk about the photos. So,
oh yeah,
do you want to explain it?
This is a really telling episode. So, on the wall they have all the photos that we're taking during the cultural festival, and Minarin and Ryuji kind of play this game where it's like, oh, I'm going to tell you which one I want to buy. Like, oh, look, here's this one with me and my baseball ones. Like, what's the first one you did? And then Ryuji's kind of like, and it's a picture of them both holding hands crossing the finish line together. And she kind of, like, tenses up, which is not too common for her. Usually she'd, like, kind of flourish in this situation. She's like, oh, yeah, I should probably get that one.
She had such bravado when Ryuji would talk to her about finding ghosts and about cooking and just about being there for Taiga. Like, she's always had a good mask on, and now it's starting to slip.
Oh, yeah. She's definitely unbalanced, I'll say. Because before, in her mind, it's more important to push the Ryuji Taiga train, but someone wants to be a conductor.
Mm-hmm. The theme of Minarin has always, it's kind of a spoiler in what they go into later, what I remember, but the theme of Minarin is where does her happiness lie in the scale of things?
And what an interesting theme to come up in an episode where Taiga can bring about people's happiness.
Yeah, and then people start to wonder, in almost a Scrubs-like moment, they're like, what would happen if I touched Taiga's head? And
God, we have another, like, beach moment like we had last time where everyone's like, this is my theme.
It was not as bad as the beach theme.
All right, it wasn't as bad. I did like it, but it was the same thing again.
Yeah, there is something very natural about watching Ami turn down coming back home where she feels safe. Because Ami's arc is that she moved away because of the stalker. And then she gained the skills to not be afraid of the stalker. But she's staying here because this is the one place where she is challenged and faced with a sense of, oh, I still have to grow. And then opposite of that is Minarin, who's kind of going to start hiding and running away because she still has to grow. So
yeah,
I like how those two end up being, like, you wouldn't expect Minarin and Ami to be like the polar opposite characters, but there you are.
And speaking of growing, we have another character who quite needs a bit of growing.
Yeah, I think Haruta, the blue-haired guy with the hoodie, needs a lot of growing. And speaking of him, he makes Kitamura come up with a great idea to dye his hair blonde in episode 15. So Kitamura is, of all the characters, considered an adult.
Is he? The dude who walks around naked?
Okay, fair point. Let me move my goalpost a bit. So Kitamura's always been aware of his feelings.
He's very open.
And he's always been kind of like the guru on emotion.
Well, it almost like he feels grounded. Like, he was the one you could always count on kind of being put together. And when he's now busted apart, it's in like a goddamn fireworks parade.
Oh yeah, he is the most childish of the group, and you would not expect it.
I'm not calm, cool, and collected, and now I'm 7.
Then, because he's 7, he's able to match with Taiga emotionally.
Oh yeah.
And then Minarine talks to Ryuji in this episode and says how her and Ryuji cannot reason with Kitamura because they are not mature enough yet. And you watch Taiga, who is not mature enough yet, like, she's going to try to reason with Kitamura, and you realize that the logic of, oh, children cannot teach or help adults is very flawed. And that's like Minarine's logic in this episode is very, very, like, filled with holes.
But yet she's still taken aback when Ryuji calls her awesome.
Yeah, when Ryuji calls her awesome, she kind of goes, I'm a big phony. And
yep.
Which is, I guess, great foreshadowing, because that is that is the second half.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't remember the conclusion too well. I do remember Taiga running for student council president as well. And I remember it being a good source of comedy. But other than that, I don't remember too many of the details.
I remember her literally running for the student council president.
Oh.
And then I remember the photos coming back. And that's why I was surprised. The photos are very important. In fact, I would say
they are.
That's the if this was the Marvel universe, that's the post-credits teaser.
They're literally Infinity Gems.
Yeah. Oh no. I want a world where Inko is the final boss. Inko is Thanos. Smiling purple parrot.
I'm just really looking forward to next week. We're going to have an election.
Isn't that great? Aren't we so excited to talk about an election?
You know, a wall would really help with those tsunamis.
That's me hitting my head on the desk. Thank you to Eddie Gomez for our theme music and Phil Vasquez for our cover art.
Do you guys want to hear some more? Hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you know when we upload an episode.
Also, check out other shows on Kitchen Bed Media. We have 102 Cast, we have Chai Guys, and we have a few more things coming down the pipeline.
Ooh, what could it be? Guys, we are also on Twitter. Check us out. Palmtop Podcast. Throw it in that search bar. You'll find us.
Hey, Kyle, quick, best girl.
Best girl? Easy. Senjo Gahara.
What?
Spell that.
C-T-S.